The forest was unusually quiet that evening. Too quiet for early dusk. Sergeant Mark Hale noticed at the moment he stepped out of his cabin. The air felt tight, tense, like the woods themselves were holding their breath. His dog, Rex, a large black and tan shepherd trained for search missions, paced back and forth, ears rigid and nose twitching. Then Rex froze. A low growl rumbled in his chest. "What is it, boy?" Mark asked, but Rex had already bolted toward the tree-line. Mark grabbed his flashlight and rifle and followed. The woods swallowed the last light of day. Twigs cracked under Mark's boots as he jogged through the undergrowth, the hairs on the back of his neck rising. Rex wasn't behaving like this for a stray deer. Something was wrong. Suddenly, Rex barked, sharp, urgent. When Mark reached the clearing, he stopped cold. There, collapsed against a fallen log, was a man in a torn, blood-soaked uniform. A uniform Mark recognized instantly. The enemy, an infiltrator from the rival faction. The same group Mark had spent years fighting against. Rex circled the wounded man, but didn't attack. Instead, he barked again, as if telling Mark, "Come here. This one's important." Mark approached cautiously, rifle raised. The man lifted his head weakly. He was young, too young, barely 20, pale, trembling, bleeding from a deep gash along his ribs. "Help me," he rasped. Mark's instinct screamed danger, but something was off. This man wasn't armed. No explosives, no radio. No ambush waiting nearby. Just a dying soldier. Rex nudged the man gently, whining. Mark sighed, torn. "You picked a fine time to grow a conscience," he muttered to his dog. But Rex didn't move, didn't blink, didn't step back. He had chosen. And Mark, against a hatred he'd carried for years, chose too. "All right," he said. "Let's get him out of here." A decision that changed everything. Mark carried the injured soldier back to cabin, Rex guarding every step. The young man drifted in and out of consciousness, mumbling words that made no sense at first. "Didn't know they'd kill my unit too. Wasn't supposed to be like this. They're making a weapon." Mark laid him on the bed and bandaged him with supplies he hadn't touched in months. The soldier flinched at first, but Rex lay beside him, calming him with quiet, protective warmth. Hours passed. Finally, the young man woke fully and whispered, "My name is Elier." Mark nodded. "You're lucky my dog found you." "No," Elier gasped. "Not lucky. They're coming. For me. And for you." Mark stiffened. "Who?" Elier swallowed hard. "My own commander. We discovered something we weren't meant to see. A new bioweapon. They killed everyone. I escaped." Mark's blood ran cold. Rex growled again, soft this time, as if he understood the danger rising around them. "How close are they?" Mark asked. "Hours," Elier whispered. "Maybe less." The attack. The first explosion shook the cabin just after midnight. Mark jolted awake, grabbing his rifle. The windows flared with orange light. Flames spread across the tree-line. Rex barked and ran to the door. "They found me," Elier whispered hoarsely. "They won't leave witnesses." Mark looked at him and understood. Saving this enemy soldier had placed both of them in the crosshairs. Another explosion hit closer. The ground trembled. Shadows moved between the trees. Armed soldiers in dark armor. Rex snarled. "We're surrounded," Mark muttered. "We stay here, we die." Elier pushed himself upright, biting back a cry of pain. "There's a supply tunnel beneath your cabin," he said. "Old military layout. I saw it on a stolen map." Mark stared. "My cabin? Why would—" "No time. They'll breach any second." Mark lifted Elier onto his shoulder. Rex sprinted ahead as Mark tore open the floorboards, revealing a rusted hatch he never knew existed. But before they could descend, bang! The cabin door blasted inward. Enemy soldiers flooded the room. Mark dove into the tunnel with Elier, Rex following last. Bullets ricocheted off the steel walls as Mark slammed the hatch shut. The truth in the darkness. They ran, Mark half carrying Elier, through the narrow underground passage while distant explosions echoed overhead. "Why protect me?" Elier asked weakly. I'm your enemy. Because my dog said so, Mark muttered, and he's never wrong. Rex barked in agreement as if proud, but as they reached the end of the tunnel, Elliot stopped Mark with a trembling hand. Listen, he whispered urgently. Your country and mine, they're both being lied to. What are you talking about? The war, it's a cover. Both governments are run by the same council now. They feed us propaganda, so we keep fighting while they build something worse. Mark's skin crawled. Worse than war. A pathogen. Not to kill soldiers, but to control civilians. Mark stared at him, horrified. They'll release it soon, Elliot said, unless we expose them. The final stand. The tunnel opened into the abandoned ruins of an old logistics station. Mark spotted a comms panel, broken but not dead. If I can power this up, I can broadcast a public signal, he said. Get your warning out. But the moment he activated it, footsteps echoed. The enemy had found them. Rex barked, teeth bared. Mark positioned himself in front of Elliot. You're not dying here. Elliot looked at him, eyes shining with something like respect and regret. You don't even know me, he whispered. I know you didn't deserve to be hunted by your own, Mark replied. The door burst open. Gunfire filled the station. Rex leaped, tackling the first soldier. Mark fired at the others, moving with the precision of years on the battlefield. Elliot dragged himself to the comms panel and punched in the last code he remembered. A sharp beat pierced the air. Transmission sent. The truth was out. A final grenade rolled across the floor. Rex barked frantically. Mark grabbed Elliot and dove behind a crate as the explosion tore through the room. What happened next changed everything. When Mark opened his eyes, the gunfire had stopped. The enemy's soldiers were retreating. Sirens wailed across the valley. Their own government had intercepted Elliot's broadcast. The conspiracy was exposed. Leaders were being arrested. Armies were standing down. The war was over. Because a wounded enemy soldier had told the truth. Because a human soldier had chosen compassion over hatred. And because a loyal dog had trusted his instincts. Elliot lay beside Mark, unconscious but breathing. Rex limped over and rested his head in Mark's lap, tail wagging weakly. You saved the world, boy, Mark whispered, stroking his fur. Both of you did. As rescue teams arrived and the sun rose over the shattered valley, Mark realized something. Sometimes the biggest change begins with the smallest choice. The choice to help a stranger, even an enemy.